Hello everyone, and this is my review for WWE NXT on January 1st, 2015, and, basically, like a few weeks ago, they were definitely keeping their, keeping the whole fallout from our evolution going, and continuing on with a lot of those particular storylines, especially with the Lucha Dragons and the Vaughn Villains. The Vaughn Villains attacking them after the Lucha Dragons match, which was a pretty decent match, some good high flying spots inside of there. But the main setup for that was to set up the rematch for the tag team titles, because they've been playing off the storylines that the illegal man was pinned inside of that match, so they deserved a rematch, and that's where they're going with that. So they set it up for the Von Villains versus Lucha Dragons for the next week. So that's where they basically went with that storyline, keeping that one going. As many of these storylines, they're trying to keep them going as long as possible. They are also continuing on with the storyline with Enzo Amore, Big Cass, and Carmella. Kind of growing the tension between, growing the tension between the three of them by mainly using Carmella and Enzo, and you have Big Cass kind of in the middle of the whole mix. And this week, where it was the week before, or a few weeks before, where Enzo Amore got distracted and lost the match, this week he actually distracts Carmella and causes her to lose her match. So that's that aspect of where they're going. It seems like they're trying to grow a storyline for a potential split, I think, of Enzo Amore and Big Cass. I'm not sure exactly where they're going to go with it, or if that's exactly the route they're going to go, but that's what it looks like it's going at right now. You also had the continuation with Bull Dempsey and Baron Corbin. Basically, you saw Bull Dempsey with CJ Parker in the backstage, trying to hype him up for his match, and trying to say, he needs to go out there and embarrass Baron Corbin. Of course, the match itself was really quick, like all the Baron Corbin matches are. But this week, we finally get, instead of the stare down between the two of them, you finally get that physical altercation, something you've been looking for between the two of them, and getting the crowd, even more amped up. Initially just the stare downs work, but now they're going into that physical altercation portion of their storyline, and we'll see when they actually have to pull off the match between the two of them. I don't think it'll be relatively soon. I think they have to do something with Baron Corbin kind of interrupting Bull Dempsey at some point in time as well. So we'll see where they go with that. Sorry, lost my track of mind there for a second. You also had the continuation with the storyline between Sasha Banks and Charlotte, and this time around, instead of bringing Bayley into the mix, they're bringing Natalya into the mix, because you had Charlotte out there doing a promo over Sasha Banks about how she's beaten her twice, the Our Evolution match, and then the match the week before, and then it led to both Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks coming out. It looked like they were going to attack her, but Natalya comes out to make the save, making it feel of kind of the newcomers of Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch versus the maybe not necessarily full veterans, but the people with legacy behind them, like Natalya with the Hart family, and of course Charlotte with Ric Flair as her father. So that brings in a nice little interesting dynamic into it, and they're definitely going to try to carry out this Sasha Banks versus Charlotte storyline as long as they possibly can. And for the most part, that's not a bad thing either. You also got a promo from William Regal, talking about how Sami Zayn was going to come back, which led into a promo for Sami Zayn a little bit later on. I'll talk about that in a few moments. But also they did a interruption segment where Curtis Axel interrupts William Regal, and now it seems as if Curtis Axel's trying to do almost like a redemption or a rejuvenation of his career storyline inside of NXT. So now he has a match with Hideo Itami the next week. So we'll see how they decide to roll with Curtis Axel in the NXT area. If he's going to be something where he's actually, you know, going to try to rejuvenate his career, almost like kind of what they were trying to do with Tyson Kidd, or if he's just going to be down there essentially jobbing out to all the newcomers. And so we'll see where they go with that in this, you know, in this frame of mind, and see where they actually go with Curtis Axel here. Now, this brings to the Sami Zayn promo. I like the aspect that, you know, they didn't go with like full production value behind the Sami Zayn promo. You know, it was basically shot with a cell phone in front of everybody, in front of like where he's living and everything like that, because he's supposed to be recuperating from injuries from the R Evolution. I liked the promo that he gave off because it came off as somebody who wasn't sure how he was supposed to feel, because he had this big moment where he won the title at R Evolution, but then he had his friend betray him right afterwards. So it was a really nice little dynamic there of him being kind of conflicted on what he should be doing and how he should be feeling about everything going on right now. And then, of course, it was announced that he's coming back the next week to give everything, you know, basically give a full update on everything. That's where they're going with that portion of the story. I'm more likely going to set up a match with him and Adrian Neville, and then continuing on the storyline with Sami Zayn, or not Sami Zayn, but Kevin Owens. Which Kevin Owens gave a quick promo as well, where he basically did one of those storm off from the interview promos. And it came off really well. You can definitely get that feel that that's the kind of, you know, like the kind of character he's trying to portray. Somebody who doesn't really give a lot of answers. He's just there really to fight. He kind of is just doing whatever he wants, however he wants. So, you know, that kind of promo there definitely works out for him in the end. And he's not, and, you know, at this point in time, they don't need to fully explain his reasonings behind everything. He's just there to fight, and maybe in the end that's the storyline. He just wants to fight Sami Zayn. So we'll see where they continue on with that story. This led to the main event, which was the Ascension versus Hideo Itami and Finn Balor, which of course was the rematch from R Evolution. No real story behind this. They kind of did a role reversal. Role reversal from R Evolution, where, you know, where Tommy and Balor were, you know, basically dominating the entire initial start of the match, but then Finn Balor gets taken out, and that's where the role reversal was. Finn Balor this time was the one taking the initial beating before taking the hot tag into Hideo Itami versus Itami taking all the punishment for and doing the hot tag to Balor like in R Evolution. Overall, that match was a really, really good match again. I have been enjoying Itami and Balor inside the ring so far. You know, not too much on their mic skills yet, but then again, they haven't been given too much mic time. So we'll see if that will continue on and see where their actual storylines are going to go. Are they going to continue these two on as a team? Or are they going to just split the both of them apart and now let them go off on their singles areas? And so we'll see where they go with that and see what their next storyline is. Obviously, with the Ascension, they're making their move up to Raw, so they're kind of just going through the ringer and kind of putting the newer people over at this time. So this will more than likely be one of the last times you see them on the NXT, because they're making their jump over to Raw. So overall, I actually enjoyed this hour of NXT. I thought it was very enjoyable. They did do a fair amount of story building and continuations with a lot of the stories that they wanted to continue. No real new storylines starting up quite yet, but then again, they don't necessarily need to. They can, with the fact that they're only an hour long, they kind of can drag out these storylines a little bit longer, because you don't have to have them on there week by week by week by week. You know, you can fill in the time with just a couple of segments like a segment every other week or something in that sense. So overall, this was a pretty good show. And yeah, that's my review this week for NXT, and I thank you guys for watching.